WREG in Memphis. This is News Channel 3 at 6.
And we'll get you started with breaking news happening right now on Interstate 40. The Tennessee Highway Patrol tells us a prison transport bus somehow caught fire. Now, this is a live look at that area on I-40 near Highway 64, and the Highway Patrol tells us that prisoners were treated on the scene for some minor injuries. Traffic, as you can see, is backed up in both directions as they try to get this cleaned up. We'll continue to follow this and have more for you as needed.
Today, I'm announcing that we will be joining 16 other states in this nation by introducing a constitutional carry law in the state of Tennessee. This law would extend the constitutional right to carry a handgun to all law-abiding citizens with or without a permit who are 21 and older, except in restricted areas.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee announcing support for new firearm legislation today. Thanks for joining us for the News at 6. I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
And I'm Greg Hurst. And like you just heard, it would allow residents to carry a gun concealed or openly without obtaining a permit. WREG Peter Fleischer is live now. And Peter, after speaking with firearms experts and also government officials, it would seem this will be a controversial bill.
Yeah, it does seem that way, and it seems like the two sides of this issue continue to drift further apart. It's certainly a hot topic here in Memphis. Just last weekend, a local teenager unintentionally shot and killed by his best friend, and the family involved is worried that early exposure and a lack of education about firearms played a factor.
Governor Lee's legislature would allow law-abiding citizens aged 21 and up to carry a handgun without a permit, joining 16 other states that allow for constitutional carry. Officials and firearms experts reacted quickly in Memphis, a city riddled with gun violence.
This is just going to add to that problem and make it almost impossible for law enforcement to know if somebody with a weapon is a convicted felon or a prohibited person.
To allow people to carry a gun in a city like Memphis, where people are remarkably uneducated on how to carry firearms, how to handle one safely, or the laws about carrying them, it's going to keep people hurt or killed.
Governor Lee and supporters believe the legislature upholds the right to bear arms and would keep citizens safer in the event of an attempted mass shooting. There are also added penalties for stealing firearms. The volunteer state has seen an increase in guns stolen from cars and trucks, and the new law would increase the minimum sentence for theft from 30 to 180 days. While the two sides struggle to agree on a solution, tragedies continue to occur. Just days ago, 16-year-old Jordan Milan was unintentionally shot and killed by a 17-year-old friend. His heartbroken family is concerned that overexposure and uneducated access to guns is part of the problem.
We put those guns in our babies' lives at an early age. And when you have a trigger, when a child gets older, they feel that that same trigger could be the water gun, but it's not. It's a total different trigger.
While lawmakers continue to change the access to firearms, looking for the perfect balance, victims, like the family of Jordan Milan, hope for safety and peace.
Because he's in a better place, but he's just gone too soon and too early.
This is obviously a very complicated issue for everyone involved. The next step in the process would be for that constitutional carry bill to be in front of a subcommittee next Tuesday in Nashville. Reporting live in downtown Memphis, Peter Fleischer, WREG News Channel 3.
All right, thank you for that report, Peter. Another opponent of the governor's proposal, MPD Director Michael Rawlings. He just wrapped up a news conference outlining many concerns he has with people in Memphis carrying a firearm in public without a background check or training.
I predict that if this is passed, you'll see an increase in gun violence in Memphis and across the state.
How Director Rawlings hopes to change the governor's mind. That story is coming up tonight on the News at 10.
And now new at 6. A News Channel 3 investigation discovers Shelby County District Attorney Amy WREG received unexpected and disappointing news. The Shelby County School Board has decided it will no longer partner with her team when it comes to truancy.
Yeah, the two have worked together on this for quite some time. WREG investigator Jessica Gertler has this exclusive interview.
It was something that this office enjoyed doing.
Shelby County District Attorney Amy WREG says her office has been working to combat truancy in Shelby County schools since 2007.
It was very sad and disappointing news for us.
Then, all of a sudden, she got word that relationship ended.
Was it unexpected?
Very much so. Very much so.
WREG's office needed an updated MOU, a memorandum of understanding, an agreement between two parties to continue their work.
We got word that the school board wasn't going to approve the updated language, and the school system, the administration, was cutting ties and ending our partnership.
A partnership, WREG says, that had evolved into 30 schools for more than a decade. Her team helping pair students who are on track to truancy with mentors and offering rewards to students with good attendance, like new bicycles. They recently got the Grizzlies to partner with them for even more incentives. Her team also offered resources to parents of truant children instead of just charging them or sending their child to juvenile court. That work all free of charge.
It was a really sad day for our advocates who are in those schools every day, building relationships with those families.
WREG says the board had asked her to make some changes.
We did that very happily. One of the changes that they requested was, instead of holding the parent intervention meetings here at 201, they asked that we hold those at the school headquarters, and so we made that change.
But she never thought they would just end the partnership, especially without an explanation.
My meeting was not with the school board. My meeting was with the superintendent, who said that the school board had not agreed to sign the MOU, and he was therefore not going to push it any further, and they were going to sever the relationship.
Jerica, have you spoken with Jared?
Our crew tried to ask Superintendent Joris Ray about it, but he directed us to his communications team, who didn't give us an answer either.
We can send you a statement.
We later received that lengthy statement, in part saying it was regrettable to end the arrangement, but they were left with no choice since there was no MOU. Officials stated, we will continue to follow truancy laws and implement attendance initiatives. As for board members, they haven't responded to our emails.
The law now requires that there be these interventions in place. I guess the school board is going to, or the school system is going to just take that on their own. Of course, we'd love to continue the partnership. Like I said, it was a shock to us.
Jessica Gertler, WREG, News Channel 3.
Now, WREG says that they received donations for bicycles and other prizes given to children with good attendance. So now Shelby County says it'll find a way for students to get those bikes. Now, to see the district's full statement, just go to our website and click on this story. Here's Jim now with a first look at your forecast.
And we're looking at the last sliver of sunlight for the day, especially with the cloud cover coming in. Storm Tracker 3S is looking at that cloud cover moving across the Mississippi River from Arkansas, even seeing a bit of light rain in northern West Tennessee. Cool temperatures as well. A chilly 44 degrees here at News Channel 3, where our high today was only 47 and 31 our low, 33 officially out at the airport. Now, temperatures will stay in the 40s from now until 10 o'clock. We do dip down into the 30s, but we have some short waves, some rain makers, some sprinkle makers, and maybe even a flurry maker in the forecast coming up.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes, Jim. And new at 6 tonight, Memphis Light Gas and Water wrapped up its series of power supply advisory team meetings as they evaluate whether to stay with TVA.
Now, the last session was held today, where the committee heard a consultant's analysis of MLG&W's future energy supply options. As our April Thompson reports, a final decision on what could be an historic move won't be coming for a few more months.
There's still a good bit more that we have to do. I tell everyone we're in the early fourth quarter now, but the game's not quite over.
MLGW President and CEO J.T. Young says it will probably be midsummer before a final decision is made on whether MLGW will stop buying power from TVA.
This is a summary of some of the key points that we have found over time.
Thursday, the MLGW Power Advisory Team heard from a consultant with detailed analysis of best-case scenarios MLGW should consider in making the move, a move that could cost upwards of $1.5 billion in upgrading power distribution equipment.
We've got to do upgrades and maybe extensions of new, robust transmission lines. There's environmental considerations that we have to think about. We have to consider, whether or not we can make sure we acquire all the land that we need to get. We think all those things are doable.
Since the beginning, MLGW has assured customers their best interest is a priority and long-term decisions would be for the good of the customers. But how will a break from TVA impact consumers? That's a question no one can really answer.
If we did make a change or a move away from TVA, would there be any savings? In other words, could everybody's utility bill be lowered? Would we be able to have additional funds to put into infrastructure investments to make our local distribution system more reliable than it is today?
Environmental members of the advisory team are hoping MOGW would look toward more energy-efficient ways of producing power,
which is a pathway out of poverty to Memphians that struggle with high energy bills. So energy efficiency lowers the costs to MLGW, it lowers customer bills, and it provides a lot of local jobs. And we see that as a win-win-win for the city of Memphis.
April Thompson, WREG News Channel 3.
Well, consultants will come back with a draft report in mid-April, followed by a 30-day period for the public to review that draft. A final plan is expected to be ready this summer.
WREG is keeping a close eye on any new developments with the coronavirus. At last check, no one in Tennessee, Mississippi, or Arkansas here in the Mid-South have tested positive for the illness. Tennessee's governor says his team is staying ahead of it.
We have a plan and a strategy to be prepared. It's important that we track this, and that's why we have daily interaction with health officials and with federal officials.
You can find the latest information on the coronavirus from the CDC on WREG.com.
One downtown Memphis business has a long historic past of serving families in the Mid-South.
You know, but there are also a few things many people don't know. Coming up next, the hidden history of R.S. Lewis.